The summer sun casts a brilliant, golden glow over the immaculate lawns of the British countryside, illuminating a world steeped in centuries of tradition, unspoken rules, and carefully curated public appearances. This is the season when the eyes of the global community turn instinctively toward the grand spectacles that define the modern monarchy, events where the intersection of heritage, fashion, and social prestige creates a narrative that captivates millions. For generations, these meticulously orchestrated gatherings have served as the ultimate stage for the prominent figures of the realm to demonstrate unity, continuity, and an effortless grace under the relentless scrutiny of the international press. The atmosphere is thick with anticipation, filled with the soft murmur of elite spectators, the rustle of high-end couture, and the rhythmic clicking of cameras capturing every subtle gesture, every shared glance, and every deliberate omission. Amid the pageantry, a complex web of familial dynamics operates just beneath the surface, transforming seemingly routine social calendar appearances into highly significant barometers of internal standing and influence. Viewers who follow these intricate developments closely understand that what remains unsaid is often far more revealing than the official declarations issued from palace walls, making every public outing a masterclass in nonverbal communication and symbolic signaling. To stay fully informed on these unfolding chapters of modern history, and to receive comprehensive analyses of the subtle shifts within this historic institution, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications for all our latest deep dives. As the season progresses, the public focus naturally intensifies on which individuals are granted access to the inner circle and which ones are left to navigate the periphery of the established order. The contrast between those who effortlessly embody the traditional ideals of duty and those who find themselves entangled in ongoing public debates creates a palpable tension that defines the contemporary era of this ancient household. This underlying friction influences how the public perceives the fairness and transparency of an institution that must constantly balance its historic privileges with the expectations of a modern world. The fascination with these figures does not merely stem from a curiosity about their lifestyles, but from a deeper desire to understand how an ancient legacy adapts to the shifting cultural and financial realities of the present day. Every appearance at a major seasonal event becomes a carefully weighed statement, a piece of a larger puzzle that observers around the world try to assemble in real time. The balance of power, the distribution of favor, and the visual representation of solidarity are all tested on these grand public stages, where the stakes are remarkably high despite the festive veneer. As we prepare to explore the intricate financial threads and personal grievances that have recently begun to surface, the atmospheric brilliance of the summer social calendar serves as both a beautiful backdrop and a stark contrast to the quiet controversies brewing behind closed doors. The juxtaposition of public celebration and private tension has rarely been more pronounced, drawing observers into a narrative that is as much about modern accountability as it is about historic prestige. Within this highly charged environment, even the most glamorous outings are viewed through a lens of critical analysis, where observers question the underlying costs and the true meaning of participation in these grand traditions. The unfolding chapters of this narrative promise to reveal a great deal about how the institution views its responsibilities to both its heritage and its critics, making this a pivotal moment in the ongoing story of a family operating under the lens of modern global media. The elegant surface of these summer gatherings masks a deeper, more turbulent dialogue regarding inclusion, financial transparency, and the long-term directions of a legacy that must navigate an increasingly skeptical audience. By examining the subtle cues provided during these high-profile events, one can begin to piece together the shifting priorities and the internal negotiations that shape the public face of the world's most famous dynasty. The anticipation surrounding these events highlights the enduring power of the institution to command attention, even as it faces unprecedented questions about its internal operations and the privileges afforded to its various members. As the narrative transitions from the sunny terraces of high society into the complex world of institutional funding and private real estate arrangements, the true complexity of maintaining this grand facade begins to come to light. The journey into the heart of this modern dilemma requires a careful examination of the subtle distinctions made between various family members, distinctions that have far-reaching implications for the public perception of fairness and modernization. The elaborate traditions of the summer season provide the perfect framing for a story that is fundamentally about change, resistance, and the delicate art of maintaining a timeless image in an era demanding absolute clarity. The grand illusion of seamless unity begins to show visible fractures when the analytical gaze shifts from public pageantry to the complex, often opaque world of institutional finances and residential accommodations. A profound sense of unease has begun to permeate the public consciousness following revelations regarding the specific financial arrangements that support certain junior members of the prominent household. At the center of this gathering storm is the discovery that substantial funds derived from private institutional income have been consistently utilized to maintain the luxurious London residences of Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. For years, the general public assumed that these non-working members of the family who do not carry out official duties on behalf of the crown were completely self-sufficient and operating entirely as private citizens within the modern economy. However, official reports from administrative auditing bodies have brought to light a highly sophisticated structure of financial assistance that has been quietly maintained behind palace walls. This arrangement, which traces its origins back to decisions made during the previous reign to ensure the granddaughters maintained a secure and dignified foothold within the historic properties, has now become a source of significant controversy in an era that demands absolute transparency. The revelation that their rents at prestigious locations, such as St. James's Palace and Ivy Cottage on the grounds of Kensington Palace, are heavily discounted and ultimately covered by senior institutional funds, has ignited a fierce debate about fairness and privilege. Because these residences are situated within occupied royal palaces, complex security protocols dictate that only individuals with specific clearance can occupy them, leading to an administrative adjustment where the stated rent is reduced to roughly 64 to 68% of the open market value. Yet, rather than the sisters paying this already significantly reduced amount from their own private earnings, the balance is quietly settled through senior funding streams, creating a distinct dual reality that has not gone unnoticed by observers across the Atlantic. In the coastal enclave of Montecito, California, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex watch these developments unfold with a sense of deep-seated frustration and undeniable resentment. To those who have chosen or been forced to step away from the core of the institution, the continuation of these real estate privileges for junior members feels like a glaring double standard that directly contradicts the narrative of a modernized, streamlined operation. The contrast is made even more painful by the memory of their own swift eviction from Frogmore Cottage, a decision that followed closely on the heels of highly controversial literary publications and was rumored to have been championed by senior family members seeking to enforce strict boundaries. For the exiled prince, who now navigates a highly unpredictable landscape of commercial speechmaking, media production deals, and corporate partnerships, the sight of his cousins enjoying fully subsidized palace accommodations while he operates in the demanding corporate world creates a profound sense of institutional hypocrisy. The situation highlights the delicate and volatile nature of the so-called half-in, half-out lifestyle that was famously criticized during high-profile American television interviews. While the institution has maintained a firm stance that individuals cannot enjoy the benefits of royal status without committing to full-time public service, the financial realities of Beatrice and Eugenie suggest a far more flexible, accommodating set of rules for those who remain compliant with the established order. This disparity adds considerable fuel to the ongoing narrative of grievance that defines the relationship between the California branch and the London core, as observers note that the sisters have managed to achieve the exact blend of private career freedom and institutional financial security that was explicitly denied to others. The tension is further heightened by the realization that the husbands of both princesses are successful professionals in their own right, with Beatrice's spouse operating as a highly prosperous property developer who presumably possesses the financial means to secure premium housing on the open market. This raises pressing questions within the court of public opinion regarding why senior leadership continues to foot the bill for independent, grown children who are fully capable of standing on their own feet financially. The debate touches on a fundamental question of modern institutional ethics, drawing unfavorable comparisons to ordinary family dynamics where independent adults are expected to assume full responsibility for their own living expenses. As the public scrutinizes these arrangements, the pressure mounts on senior leadership to justify the continued expenditure of vast resources on individuals who do not actively contribute to the public-facing mission of the household. The atmospheric tension surrounding these financial disclosures creates a palpable sense of anticipation for how the institution will adapt its real estate policies going forward, especially as a younger generation of leadership prepares to implement a more rigorous, business-like approach to the family's assets. The contrast between those who receive quiet financial cushions and those who must navigate the unforgiving commercial marketplace has become a defining theme of the contemporary narrative, ensuring that every subsequent residential decision will be weighed with critical intensity by an increasingly skeptical global audience. The long-term resolution of these complex housing disputes will ultimately dictate how the public views the modern institution as it moves forward into an increasingly demanding and transparent era. The debate surrounding residential subsidies is not merely a question of numbers, but a profound examination of the underlying values that the modern family represents to the global community. To understand the true stakes of this situation, one must look closely at the contrasting models of behavior provided by different members of the extended household, each representing a distinct path for navigating the intersection of private life and public legacy. On one side of this spectrum stands Zara Tindall, the daughter of the Princess Royal, who has long been celebrated as the definitive blueprint for how a non-working member of the family should conduct themselves in the modern world. Born without a title at her mother's explicit request, she has built a remarkably successful and entirely independent career as an elite champion, equestrian, securing high-profile commercial partnerships, modeling arrangements, and corporate sponsorships purely through her own talent, hard work, and effortless public appeal. Her professional endeavors are widely regarded as sophisticated, appropriate, and dignified, serving as an asset to the family's image without ever relying on palace funds or taxpayer-subsidized accommodations to maintain her lifestyle. She stands as a powerful example of a private citizen who respects the heritage of her lineage while fully embracing the realities of the modern economy, proving that it is entirely possible to maintain an immaculate public reputation without relying on institutional handouts. Conversely, her brother, Peter Phillips, has occasionally provided a cautionary tale, demonstrating how easily the lines can become blurred when private business ventures lean too heavily on the prestige of royal connections. Over the years, his involvement in certain international commercial arrangements, corporate sponsorships, and large-scale public events generated considerable media scrutiny and highlighted the intense risks associated with capitalizing on a historic name. These varying experiences have provided the institution with invaluable lessons on how to manage the complex boundaries between private commerce and public duty, illustrating that the modern audience is quick to judge any arrangement that appears to offer an unfair advantage or lack a level playing field. It is precisely because of these well-documented precedents that the current financial support provided to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie has become such a volatile point of contention. The sisters now find themselves navigating much more troubled waters, largely due to the broader public controversies surrounding their father, which have left the public highly sensitive to any perception of unearned privilege or hidden luxury. Born into the direct line of succession and raised with the expectations of traditional royal life, both princesses have had to craft independent identities in adulthood, with Beatrice dedicating herself to various charitable causes and corporate consulting roles. while Eugenie has pursued a successful career in the international contemporary art world. Both sisters are married to accomplished professionals and have young families of their own, making the continuation of their subsidized palace, rents, an increasingly difficult arrangement to justify to a public that expects independent adults to finance their own lives. As the court of public opinion grows more demanding, senior leadership faces the urgent task of modernizing its approach to real estate management, with expectations rising that a more businesslike, rigorous standard will soon be applied across all properties. Future leadership is widely expected to favor a model where non-working members are required to pay full commercial market rates, or seek housing entirely outside the security perimeter of the occupied palaces, potentially prompting a transition toward private properties or international residences, such as the continental villas that have recently featured in Society News. This shifting paradigm ensures that the era of quiet financial cushions and legacy real estate privileges is rapidly drawing to a close, replaced by a new standard of accountability where every individual's worth and cost are weighed under the unrelenting lens of global media. Ultimately, the story of these competing lifestyles and financial arrangements reveals an institution in the midst of a profound structural evolution, trying to balance its ancient traditions with the realities of the 21st century. The contrast between those who effortlessly embody the ideals of self-reliance and those who remain tethered to the comforts of institutional funding will continue to shape the public narrative for years to come. By demanding absolute clarity and fairness in its internal operations, the public is reshaping the modern monarchy, forcing it to redefine what it means to be a member of the world's most famous dynasty in an age that tolerates no exceptions to the rules of modern transparency.